Hello, my name is Kevin. We are Dirty 20 Gaming, and it is Saturday night. It's been a couple Saturdays since we've had anything on, but it's been worth the wait because tonight is the premiere episode of another season of a game none of us have ever played, including me, on a virtual tabletop that we are all very new to. I will get more to that in a minute. Um, and let's just have some fun and enjoy it. But before we do that, there are some people, some organizations that need to be thanked. Because without them, this wouldn't look as good as it does. Hero Forge, we use them to do the character art. This time I used their token builder to make the characters that you see on the screen, both on the top of the overlay and down on the actual screen itself. We also have to thank Pixabay. That's the background for the overlay that we are all sitting behind. And speaking of that overlay, we are also going to thank, not because we have to, but because I really want to, the person that built this overlay for us, who is Thunderscape7 over on our Discord. You should pop over there and tell them that they are wonderful, because they are. There's even a chance they might even be watching. And that brings us back to our new virtual tabletop. It still smells like a new car in here. We've been here so little. This is Astral, and it is stunning. It is beautiful. Oh, look at it. It's amazing. I've actually changed the way I do overlays. There's now an image down there at all times down in the corner showing you the VTT that we are using. We're also lucky enough tonight to have the person who said to me, "Have you seen Astral?" So a personal shout out to Lanny. Thank you so very, very much for introducing me to this VTT. I am loving every second of the learning curve. That's all the technical stuff. Now the fun bit. Oh, one more thing. The system that we're using is the Star Trek Quick Start game in Astral. This comes with Astral when you sign up. And that's where that's going to be our first episode of a 10-episode season. We will see how it develops from there. But that's where we started with. We're using the pre-built characters that are in there. So thank you again to Astral. Thank you to the creator of this game. And now, the important bit. The bit we cannot do this without. The players. There's some recognizable faces here and some relatively new faces. There's no brand new faces in this one, but that's okay. I'm just gonna do it in the order that I've got you guys in Zoom, so not the order that we've got you on the overlays. But let us start with playing Solan for us this evening and for the next 10 weeks. We have Nick. I know what you're doing when you're not here. How is scheduling going in the land of the GM?
It's fine. I'm sure you've been seeing, basically this month we took off, not necessarily because we wanted to, but because, life happens. But hopefully we're going to get our session in this Wednesday, and we'll have had our session for April. But, that's just how it goes sometimes.
Session for April.
Well, in addition to that, school's wrapping up, so fingers crossed that everything goes well with that.
I'm sure it will. So yes, you're keeping busy when you're not here. Next, we already spoken briefly about her. Lanny playing Sky Tristan for us tonight. Is it Tristan?
No, Tristine.
Tristine? Okay.
Yeah, you're awesome with my names.
Me and your names is just not working. But anyway, we have you with us tonight. Again, thank you very much for introducing me to Astral. That's the reason, the initial contact I had, which caused me to reach out to them and them to reach back out to us and allow us to advertise on their Discord channel and to wonderfully tweet about our games too. So thank you for that. And thank you for joining us. When you're not here, I see you have a avatar VTube personality. What are you doing when you're not here?
I have this, and apparently the colors are not the way I want. I'm sorry for that. We learned about that earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, there should be more blue tones. I might fix that next time if I have time. But yeah, I don't do much with that stuff. Most of what I do Otherwise, it's typically just writing.
Oh,
I've been
yes.
making progress in my new trilogy.
Oh, I wish I had the patience, the time, the planning, the organization. But I have none of those things, so I play D&D instead, where I can make 90% of it up on the fly.
Oh,
Thank you very much for joining us.
Don't
tonight.
worry. I actually use my role-playing technique to do my writing. So
I'm sure.
definitely made sure I put in some time to do extra writing today so that I was ready to go with stuff on the fly.
Oh, yeah. Whatever it takes to get into the zone. Thank you for joining us. Also playing Gyro for us tonight, Hellhounds. Welcome back. It has been too long. I've unfortunately had to cancel a couple games that you were in, but we finally got it. We finally got it together. So, hello and welcome.
Hey, most of those cancels were for your own health, dude.
That's
Don't
besides
worry
the point.
Don't worry about it. Your health is more important than dice right now.
Well, sure, but we're here anyway, so we might as well roll some dice. Speaking of rolling dice, you do lots of that. Bring us up to speed with anything you want us to know.
Well, first and foremost, doesn't really matter where you go. My name is going to be Hellhounds20. I stream D&D on Mondays and Tuesdays. Haven't really been doing that lately because it's finals week for some schools. I have done it again. I was doing 4. I've now planned to teach a group of VR players how to play D&D late on Fridays.
Oh,
these people are pure chaos.
Yep.
But they're very sweet. They really want to learn, and I'm gonna try my best.
Try not to let them kill everybody.
I am so tired, but I want to do it. I'm just so tired, and I really needed this distraction.
Well, I feel that deeply because not that long ago at the start of this year, I had to admit that I was in fact human, and I couldn't do 5 shows a week. I could not do it. So I wish you all the energy and strength that you're going to need to get through that, and good on you for bringing new people in. That is key, not only to the growth of this game, but it's also key to my world plan, which is share joy until everybody's happy. So thank you for your part in that.
It's going to be fun. We're going to be doing it in VR.
Oh, that is... VRD, yeah, with the level of buy-in some people get into games, that could get positively damaging. Like somebody's going to stand up and run right into the wall in their living room in that game.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
I think it would just be awesome to like sit down with a screen on your table and everything, and everybody sitting there in their character.
Yep,
that's literally what we're doing.
Oh my god,
that's spectacular.
That's better than
you kind of broke it for me because the segue was going to be talking about standing up and running headlong into the wall. We have Bison joining us tonight, playing Peter Sakes, our engineer. You have been doing all kinds of interesting stuff recently. Bring us up to speed.
Okay, well, how you doing? I'm Bison. I stream occasionally, playing just the various games that attract my attention deficit disorder mind. Lately, it's been Outriders, and that is a game by People Can Fly, who are behind a couple of the Gears of War games and Bulletstorm, and it's fun, and I love it, and I'm glad my friend got me into it. I will usually be streaming Monday nights. Lately, it's been different because work's been weird. But other than that, I will occasionally be streaming with Russ Bar. We've been playing Valheim. That'll be on Twitch. I normally don't stream those because he's already streaming and it's, I don't know, weird. But that game's been a lot of fun. It's like Vikings meets open world survival. And I fought a deer that shot lightning. It was cool. But that's what I do.
Deer are broken if they are shooting lightning.
I think that was like supposed to be part of what it did. Man, I don't even know.
And good news, like Kevin now has some ammunition.
Yeah, the electric deer. And if you missed any of that, or you want to see more of what these people do, but you didn't get a chance to see those links, you can come over to the Discord, and everybody's there as well as, it turns out, I found this out the other day, 75 people are now part of that Discord channel. So, wow, numbers are getting bigger everywhere. We're well over 100, both YouTube and Twitch. And this is, I mean, let's be honest, we're not doing anything to build that. We're just coming on here and playing games. So it's building in a very natural and wonderful way. Speaking of building, if anybody is watching this and you think somebody might enjoy it, tell them about it. Worst that they're going to do is tell you that sucked when they see you tomorrow. But it's probably not going to happen because it usually doesn't. But I have dropped my pen, so it just got real. It is time, after all those introductions, it is time to play Away Team. But first, we got to get a little bit of background about the four of you. Or to be more precise, the academy you are attending. You are attending Starfleet Academy. The very best of the best come here. And let me be perfectly clear, it is a science organization, not a military arm of the Federation. The larger vessels are armed simply to protect themselves if necessary. For the most part, your training has been about research and exploration, because that's what the Federation stands for. That and non-interference with new members, past members, or members that are currently members. I use the word members a lot in that sentence. The four of you have not actually, as of the split second that this game starts, met, because each of you are in very separate quadrants of the academy. We have an engineer, we have a con, someone who flies ships of all sorts and varieties. We have a medical officer, and we have a first officer who specializes in command. None of you have ever met the other three. In fact, you don't really spend much time thinking about the other parts of this school because you're too busy dominating the class that you're in. Because you all know that the best of the best get the best postings, the big ships. Maybe, a short step up the ladder to the Enterprise. But that's a long way in anybody's future at this point. But let's be honest, there's probably not a member at this academy that doesn't dream of that every third night. But for now, you are 2 weeks out from graduation. Because this is a competitive place, you all know you are the top of your class. Some by a little bit, some by a lot. But there's nobody better than the four of you. So when your message badges go off and you tap it and it says private message commandant, you each find a place, a quiet place, usually your own quarters where no one can overhear. And you tap it again to hear the recorded message. It says, "We've received a message from Narenda Station that a runabout called the Susquehanna has gone missing in the Carina Nebula, deep within the Shackleton Expanse. The Susquehanna was investigating an unusual alien signal that originated from the nebula when all contact was lost. We have been ordered to enter the nebula, find the runabout, and determine the origin and cause of the alien signal. Starfleet is also advised that Romulan and Ferengi ships have been sighted in the region, so we should exercise caution, since they may well have detected the alien signal. Report to the transportation bay at once." So you do, because you're good little Star Trek Federation members. And you're the best of the best, and there's no black marks on your escutcheons yet. And as you get there, you see, first of all, a small glorified shuttlecraft, really. They call it a runabout. Comfortably seats 4. It'll hold up to 12 in a pinch. But next to it, something you haven't seen live the whole time you've been here. The actual commandant. of Star Trek Academy. This is a man who has the right to wear more medals and badges than he could possibly carry. He's over 200 years old, a Vulcan, and he's been in wars, peacetimes, diplomacies, discoveries, and everything else you can possibly imagine. The four of you walk up, and I imagine, I'll ask you, how does being in that presence and knowing that you are about to be asked and sent out on your very first real mission with 3 strangers make each of you feel? I want to start with our first officer.
Oh,
You look
no.
at the 3 that are under your command. You've never met them before. Commandant stands in front of you, about to give his orders. What's going through Gyro's mind?
Gyro is looking at the others. They should be serious, but they have a small smile, like trying to be friendly, but still professional.
Yep.
But whenever you look at Gyro, they are staring hard, like they're really looking at how you look, how you walk, how you move, trying to figure out what is this person good at and what are they bad at. And when it comes to the man with all the badges, the smile goes away to go professional, but they're also looking at all those medals and they're understanding what's going on.
A little bit of awe, maybe, just a touch.
A look of respect. Mostly.
Respect. Thank you. I like that better. Thank you very much. Next, because this might have 2 answers. Our Trill engineer. You are a person in a person. Some people would call it a parasitic relationship. Symbiote is more politically correct. What is, or both? Give me one or both.
Oh, well, Peter's just really excited to be here. Before he got joined, he was kind of just another farm boy on his homeworld, and then he showed up, and the Sakes was like, "Hey, I really like the way you look, so we're gonna be buddies for a while, okay?" I'm like, "Okay," that was kind of the deal. And so while I'm sitting here just trying really hard to, like, not look like a cadet, the other 4 generations of Sakes Trill are berating him for being too eager and not showing respect. Fox is furious. It's like, "You should be standing at attention." It's like, "I'm sorry, dude, I'm doing my best, but I mean, this is so exciting."
So you just kind of vibrating, got this happy,
Kinda, yeah,
happy vibrating at attention thing.
He's very much at
Good to be
attention.
here. Good to be here,
Very,
boss.
very much happy to be here. Yeah, pretty
Beautiful.
much. You think of a golden retriever that is been told to sit.
Yeah.
Really, really doesn't.
Who knows that means that a walk's coming.
Sees the stick, sees
Yeah.
the stick behind the back.
Yeah.
He's like, "Okay, I know you're gonna throw it."
You're gonna throw the
But
stick.
he just
You're gonna throw the stick.
throws the stick. Yeah,
Perfect. I love it.
that's Pete.
You tell them to sit, but you're in the kitchen. Why would you have them sit if you're in the kitchen?
Treats. Because dogs always have a very positive outlook on life.
So does
Hi.
Peter. He's just
Yeah.
happy to be here.
Sky, your perspective is a little different. We won't, no spoilers, but what is Sky's take on the people that you're obviously being chosen to work with and this commandant?
Because of some of those details, she's obviously realizing there's a lot of huge feeling of responsibility in a sudden encounter. Like everyone behind her, a lot of things to just stand forward with this. So, in addition to a bit of humble, there is that undertone of fear.
Sure.
It's like she's probably feeling really nervous and
Absolutely.
trying hard not to be so jittery.
So
But-
again, just trying to. I like that phrase and trying not to look like a cadet, right? You're trying to look like you got this, like this is normal. Yeah, I feel that. Which brings us to our Vulcan. From a purely logical point of view, what does Solan make of this situation?
So far, he's come effectively to the conclusion that there's a chance of either the people we are going to find being in a state of disrepair, or I'm going to have to repair, or the people I'm with, I'm expected to support. So it's the attempting to figure out how close to, effectively known species, and trying to figure out, okay, so what type of care should I expect to have to deal with, and what, might I have to figure out how to support on the fly, but also doing it kind of while being respectful of the person we're before.
Yep.
So not necessarily kind of doing the full inspection, in front of him, but waiting.
Absolutely. In that case, I have cryptic character questions for the players. So no metagaming. Hellhounds. Is it a secret? And how obvious is it? Not a secret. Is it known?
It's one of those quote unquote secrets where you don't know unless you get really close to them.
Gotcha.
Like they're not trying to hide it.
Yep.
But if you find out, you find out.
Absolutely. Okay. Perfect. And Sky, same question.
What specifically to which again?
Is again? I'm asking them cryptically. Is it a secret? And how hard would it be to figure out? In your case, I think the second part of that is not very.
Considering,
Yeah, the visual. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So yes, one of those is going to require a roll, and one isn't. Thank you for your information. Solan, Sky is clearly not one of the sort of the 5 major members of the Federation race-wise. Considering the distance and location, you would have to do research before you felt comfortable doing anything medically, like cutting them open and performing surgery on them. However, you suspect, the Federation being the Federation, that those files would be on board the ship.
Understandable.
And as soon as you get in there and sort of link up Bluetooth 27.0 to your tricorder, it will be at your command there as well. The other one. Give me our first roll. Reason and science. And I'm going to make this really hard. This is going to be 4 necessary successes. So this gives me a quick chance to go over the mechanics. You automatically roll 2 dice. You take those 2 stats that we talked, the attribute, in this case reason, and the discipline, in this case science. You have numbers in both of those. You add those together and roll 2 d20s. If either or both of those are below that number, anything below that number counts as a success. I just said you need 4 successes from 2 dice. How does that work? You can buy extra dice. If you had momentum, you don't yet, but if you had momentum, you could burn that to add dice. You could also increase the incoming threat level. Basically give me extra dice in the next combat to earn you dice now. Or you could do something really silly, which is burn your only point of determination before you ever really start the mission to add more dice.
I mean,
This is for me, or
Yeah,
this is for who?
yeah. This would be Solan rolling to see about Gyro, and like I said, Gyro, they'd need 4 successes, so they'd have to burn a minimum of. They'd have to get an additional 2 dice, and get all 4 successes. So I made it pretty difficult.
Do I toggle these 2 on? Turn the
Oh no,
ones
I'm
off?
sorry. It's not you rolling. I'm sorry. It's
it's
Solan
okay.
rolling to
That's-
see if they figure anything out about you. Sorry, my bad.
I mean, the
May not be
situation doesn't really present itself as me needing to necessarily know. It's more just a cursory glance. So
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
I'm
give me
just-
the
we'll
roll
just roll
because I
the
want
two.
to see. I want to see the results because there are
Oh, yeah.
also critical fails in this game as well. Not that I'm asking that the first roll we ever have would have
Is there
one.
So
But
just roll task.
yeah,
Is there partial successes or anything?
Clicked it. Whether or not
there
one-
is
good
the
question.
more you want to generate more successes. So it's number of
Yes.
successes.
But like four
generated one.
means did it. One, does that mean not really, but kind of work, not as bad as 0?
Exactly. The way the successes work is if you generate an excess, they become momentum and they add dice that you guys can roll in the future. In this case, there was no way you could make it, but with one success, you figure out. So yeah, it's a scale, whether it's intended to be or not. Everything is with me. Are you looking
I will
at
be right
Gyro at the first officer? There's something not.
So non-standard.
Yeah, exactly. You have no idea what, but there's something non-standard. Peter appears to be perfectly normal. He's a maniac, but he appears to be perfectly normal. With that, as Peter vacates the building, apparently, he'll be back shortly, I'm sure. The Commandant looks at the four of you with a very serious look on his face. We've sent in the runabout. The last message we got was the two of them had beamed down to the planet. We have received nothing since then. Even the ship is not responding to its emergency call beacon. Unfortunately, please don't take that the wrong way, we don't have an experienced crew to send at this point. But I have faith in you, like I have faith in this institution. You are as good as this generation has to offer. And that is good enough for me. I need the four of you to go to that planet, which I don't need to tell you is in the neutral zone, and therefore beyond our support, or honestly, beyond our willingness to accept that we sent you. But we need you to go there. We need you to find the Susquehanna and its crew. We need you to bring them back. Or at the
Gyro
very
is
least,
nodding along.
we need you to tell us what happened. Another runabout will be put at your disposal. The NCC Astral. NCC 2020 is the number. It's on the character sheet. It's right there. It is a Danube class runabout, exactly the same as the ship that was sent in the first place. As you know, they are not armed and no shields. It is by no means a combat vessel of any kind. We need this done without international incidents, even though you're going into an internationally sensitive zone. Do you understand what I mean by that?
Yes, sir, I do.
Peter's taken out his tricorder and is already starting to think about what he needs to bring with him.
My
Very well.
character's just going to quietly
positions.
nod.
Yep.
There's no way you're going to look away from someone like this, and there's no
No.
way you're going to speak up. So she's just nodding.
Absolutely. So with that, the four of you, he says, we'll keep in touch as necessary as you progress. It is a short short warp jump away from here. And he looks at you, Sky, and says, the coordinates are, of course, programmed into the computer already. Remember your task.
We'll learn what we can and report as soon as possible.
He kind of looks around and does a very strange thing for a Vulcan. There's a little tiny, tiny grin on one corner of his mouth. My father told me that humans... Well, let's put it this way. Extra credit all round. He leans back. I want everybody to give me a reason and command roll to see what you know about your commandant besides the fact that he's the commandant of this school.
Oh,
Success. One success.
can
Yeah.
I roll with focus with 4 lifetimes of adventure?
Yes, yes. Oh, yes, absolutely you can. So thank you also for bringing up focus. That means every success you roll counts as 2. So, in fact, that makes sense. Everybody knows. This commandant of your school, as I just discovered moments ago, is Spock's son. So Spock, if you remember, has a human ancestor and is partially slightly human and was always fighting that. This is his son. So he also, that's where the little smirk came from.
Okay.
And he gestures the 4 of you into the ship.
Okay.
You all take your positions. Sky, you are the con officer of this ship. You run all the appropriate tests and everything else before you take us out. You realize as you do so, this ship has not been through its field trials. It has not been space tested. This is going to be, amongst other things, the ship's first time in the field.
Before we get on, Peter kicks the nacelles.
So
Make sure they work.
you did bump, 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 bump. And you get on. One of the mechanics is just looking at you, what the hell? Qualifies as an engineer these days because he sees. I mean, the color that you have, the uniform that you guys wear, lets everybody know what you are, right?
I'm just a cadet, and I'm acting like.
Sky, I would like you to give me because of this the untested system. You're going to, in this instance, the first part of this test is to fly this thing out of here by hand. So I need daring and con, please. And I only need 1 success to get you out the door, and more than that, we will see. Never mind more than that. You got 1 success. So you take manual control of the Astral and lift it up off the deck. You look into the outside cameras and you see the Commandant has shown you the ultimate respect and not stepped back. And the ship lifts up in front of him, centimeters away from his face. And the doors open. You fly through the force field and out into space. You see the course is set into the computer. You hit the button and down the tunnel of lights you go. You have a couple minutes of travel, even at high warp speeds. You kind of look around at each other. The 4 of you, the way this runabout is set up, there's no clear hierarchy of chairs. It's 4 in a row in front of a huge curving screen. Unlike what you see in science fiction movies, you're not right at the front with a big window. That would be so stupid. You're in the middle, in the deeply protected part of the ship, with a picture screen in front of you projecting the image of the outside world.
Yeah. Gyro is looking at everything, and the smile is still there. It's not getting bigger. It's not getting smaller. They're just looking at everything.
Absolutely. I would like each of you to sort of have a look around your station. As you sit down, the way it works is it reads your comms badge. So as you sit in the chair, it goes to a preset formation that you would have in all Starfleet vehicles because of who you are. So as you sit down, Gyro, I asked you first, give me a control and command. Control and command. As you try and sort of bring yourself and the system into sync. 1 success. You managed, everything is where it's supposed to be. The commands are set up the way that they're supposed to be. Everything appears to be up and running. Sky on con as well. You've already taken it out in sort of generic formation, and you hit that. It recognizes your badge and into your format. So I would like you to give me a control and command as well, please. Oh, you you took it out on generic because you kind of sat down and it didn't do its thing, and you flew it out on generic, and then you sort of went like, "Oh, excuse me, like that's not, are you not like hello, need to change the batteries." It will not grab, so you're going to have to fly it in generic. Luckily, all pilots are trained on a generic board, but at the moment, you have discovered your first glitch in the system. I love this system because it wasn't there until you rolled that 20. Medical officer. This is weird because there's no medical bay on this ship as such. There's kind of like a hibernation pod in one side that you would put them in and then do everything virtually from outside. But as you sit down on this chair, you activate all the systems in the ship. Go ahead and give me control and command.
Not my preference, but
One success and
You're
one
welcome.
fumble. You link in, everything connects, but no matter how you try, you can't link to that life pod. Something physically is wrong with it. It's going to require being fixed, probably requiring an engineer. So you have also discovered a flaw in the system. Speaking of the engineer, you sit in your chair. Peter.
Okay, what you need me to roll there, bud?
Oh, geez. Give me a control and command. It is going to be so hard not to just take over your accent this whole
Control
10
and
weeks.
command, as
I think that's
opposed-
why he went with it.
Well, honestly, it's I'm gonna blame Nick for this. We don't play SnowRunner enough, and when we're playing SnowRunner, it just sort of happens there, eh? Because we're just driving along, and apparently, I did really good.
You're doing Letterkenny meets space.
Oh,
3 successes. Perfect. 1 success. Your system is up and running. 2nd success. Sky's badge has the router needs to be restarted. There's a glitch in it. It's not
You're holding
connecting.
your head wrong. Here, let me take it.
Yeah, so you got to twist it, eh? Yeah, you see what's wrong there. It's something that's going to take you can do it. You've got a couple. It's only going to take a couple seconds to reconnect it, but that'll be a roll to actually do that. This is you figuring out what's wrong, and you also realize that there is a physical component missing from the Helit Bay. So it's going to come down to what Doc can do with his machine.
It's like, well, here's the part where it's supposed to go.
Yep.
And,
There's a
Probably should have taken a look at that before we took off. Well, that's okay. We'll figure it out once we're there.
You're now doing Warp 7, which for some weird reason in Star Trek is 7 times 7 times 7 times the speed of sound. That's how, Warp 9 is 9 times 9 times 9 times the speed of sound. Yeah. 729 times the speed of sound is the maximum speed you can possibly go in a Star Trek ship. Anyway, you guys
Until
are
they
doing
broke
Warp
that
7
rule.
because that's as fast as you can go safely. So yes, Peter, you have discovered those 2 issues. The one is super minor. I mean, it is literally like turn the comm badge off and turn it back on again, basically, right? You could do it from at your chair. That one is done. The other one, I would like you to give me a reason and engineering. Does that make sense? Considering it's what you do.
All right, let's see if I can figure this out here. Oh, I kind of figured it out.
One
I kinda
success,
figured
one
it out.
fumble. Okay. Yeah, you figure it out. What's missing is there's a power conduit that goes from the power source to the actual, like it's just raw ship's energy, straight from the dilithium crystals right into here. So it's a special power conduit. You know where you can get one of those, but it would mean that the gravity reduction system in here would be reduced by 20 to 30%. So you would get flung around. Instead of the gravity being completely neutralized, you would get flung around if you do this.
I turned to Sol and I was like, well, the good news there, bud, is I can fix it. The bad news is I don't think we got enough seatbelts for this runabout, and we're going to be bouncing around a bit.
I mean, you know where the parts are, right?
Sure.
Then we don't need it right now. We can get the parts when we need it.
Okay, then you're the boss. Well, sort of. But you know what you.
The doctor, not the boss.
Obviously, Sky's gonna look absolutely freaked out when she
Yep.
discovers that, oh, might bounce around a bit. Would have to compensate with your movement. That would be scary for her.
As you you do that and you look down at the generic setup thinking, I don't know about this, all of a sudden it changes into your custom format.
Oh yeah, I forgot to press this button.
All your,
Calibrate.
all your hotkeys are back where they're supposed to be. So you now feel comfortable flying this thing again, I would suggest. So,
Oh yeah.
This
calibrate.
entire time, Gyro
Yes,
is watching everything.
absolutely. Given that this is apparently the sea trials for this ship so far, everything seems to be going okay. Your engineer has solved 2 problems in a matter of minutes. Your medical officer and your other officer have found faults, but they've been fixed. You yourself, from your position, everything seems to be going well. As such, I would like you and the medical officer, as the ship, actually, let's start with Sky. You see the notification, the countdown from 30 that you're going to come out of warp and into orbit around the target planet. It asks you if you wish to approve this action.
So everything's normal, and we're just ready to decelerate like normal.
Absolutely. It's just it's like Windows saying, do you really want to exit this warp speed?
Well, okay, yeah. There's no reason not to. And pretty
No,
much your
absolutely.
comparison.
It is absolutely your job to hit that button and say yes. Yeah. So
Yeah.
pew, the stars slow down and you come into view of this planet. You see it on the screen first. It is brown on brown on brown. There is no green. There is no blue. This is a dry, dusty world.
I've seen this in a video game.
The very first things that start to come up on the monitors are warnings about the equivalent to electromagnetic fields, very strong electromagnetic fields affecting everything in this area. The sensors on the ship are dramatically reduced in their ability to function. First officer, seeing as how there is no science officer on this ship, can you please give me a reason and science check to sort of have a look to see what's going on here? A success and a fumble. That's fair enough. You
That's a nice 3.
you figure out quite quickly that whatever this energy is, it's coming from the planet. The source of this is on the planet below you. It is range sensitive, so the closer you get, the worse this is going to get. And you're not far from you're in a stable orbit, but you are not far from being to a point where it would start to affect your ship's ability to function.
Okay. Okay, I say we keep our distance from this planet. I don't want us to suffer whatever fate the other ship had, but I can see why they stopped communicating.
Speaking of which, because of this, there is no sign. You can't see anywhere on the sensors any sign of the other ship, or, like you should be able to, any sign of comm badges on the surface. But you imagine it's because it's being washed out by this electromagnetic field. Your engineer might know more.
Well, let's find out. It's like, well, for starters, we're probably not going to want to land in that, and I really don't trust the transporters.
This
So-
runabout will not land. It's not a shuttle. You're going to have to
That's not a
transport down.
Okay.
So part of what would be looking into now is sort of, give me a roll and we'll see how successful you are and figure out what you figure out. I have many things I could tell you. Let's see how well you roll. Yeah, reason and
As long
science.
as
That's your
reason and science.
or reason. Yeah, reason and
Engineering?
engineering. Yeah, for you. Yeah, engineering. Yeah.
All right. And,
See if you can figure out what's
Please.
actually causing this.
all right.
And yeah, anytime you guys can use a focus, take a look at those focuses on your sheet. Anytime you
Well,
can
I did
work that
okay.
in,
I was-
roll with focus instead. And also tell me if you want to add dice. Please do that before you roll. You can always do
Yeah,
that.
I was thinking.
Probably not going to do it
after
until
maybe-
combat, but anyway.
I should've
Almost
looked
all
at
of
that
these are
before.
one or I've already fudged these rules because I'm supposed to tell you how many successes you need before you roll, and instead I've turned it into sort of a sliding success scale. So when we get into combat, we will go to the other system because otherwise you won't generate any momentum. But for this, 2 successes, you figure out it's cyclical. It kind of comes and goes, and at its lowest ebb, you feel like you could safely transport the 4 of you to the surface. The other success you discover is that this is like no power source you've ever seen anywhere else.
He's like, well, if we had a science officer, they'd be getting extra credit because this thing is unique, eh? If we take it slow and like wait for it to get real quiet in like this spot or this spot here, we could probably transport down without getting fried. Otherwise, we really don't want to do that when the storm's kicked up because then we're in big trouble.
And you can
Yeah.
see a lull is approaching. Go ahead, Gyro.
I'm agreeing. I don't want to risk too much.
Absolutely. So, you guys strap your phasers on your hips.
Yep.
Go to the transporter room. Stand on those amazing blue pads.
Obviously, mine strapped to the left hip.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. Hadn't come up yet, but yes. And a few moments later, you warp into existence, bursting the sand right in your face, just like sharp, biting, crystally sand. The broken and barren volcanic landscape of Saku 6 lies before you. The terrain is mostly volcanic rock, ash, and sand. Some sparse vegetation, but just lichen and small pale grass clings to life. Sharp, rocky ledges and deep ravines will make traversing this terrain slow and torturous. You have traced a signal. Let me rephrase that. This is where you know the other group beamed down. But you look around. There's no wreckage. There's no artificial structures. And there's no facilities nearby.
So first thing Pete does is he starts looking for obviously the powers, if he gets any power signatures whatsoever.
Yep.
Holding it up.
So you're
trying to get a
looking
good
you're
spot.
looking for the power signatures. I like that.
Mhm.
Solan, what are you doing?
He's kind of taking a moment and kind of at this point, he's looking around to kind of see, okay, so doesn't know necessarily what supplies they necessarily came down with. So he's thinking others might have done the same thing. So the
Yep.
first thing he's thinking is desert. So we're definitely going to be looking for water.
Okay.
Probably feels like home to him.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm just kind of thinking, where would somebody try to go for that kind of supplies type thing?
So,
or
also
his
sort of
survival.
like a survival sort of a thought.
Ah, that's
How
round
would I survive? And Sky, you were going to do something like that as well?
That's around what I was thinking.
Perfect. Absolutely. That means 2 people rolling. Gyro, your team just drops into automatic mode. They all start doing what they're supposed to be doing. What would you like to do?
I'm thinking less that style survival. I'm thinking, okay, this is a very harsh landscape. There's going to be creatures that are desperate out here. I am looking around, keeping my eye open for any perceivable threats.
Perfect. Okay. In that case, I want you to roll first. Gyro, give me... Well, you tell me. Are you doing this using your insight or your reason?
Probably their reason.
Okay. So reason and science for me, please. While you have a look around for threats.
Can I use my survival focus for this?
Absolutely, you can. And we're going to start doing this the technically correct way now. I require only 1 success for this.
Fingers crossed.
You got one success, which is the required amount, and I don't have to start tracking momentum yet. You haul out your tricorder, and as you do, you kind of, there's a life form. Everything is really distorted, and it doesn't have the range that it should, and you're getting weird responses. But out of all of that, there's right at the edge of what you can see with the machine, it registers a life force. And you look up. You tell me, hope in your eyes, fear, what is it? Before your eyes get up to what's there. What's your first thought when you see life form on the tricorder reading?
I can't describe the word. It's not necessarily hope or fear. It's I am alert. Like I'm.
Yes. So just your eyes snap up, and you can see. You see a Romulan. And for those of us, for those of you that don't know what it looks like, if you go into your bottom left of your screen and click on your token, there's a tab called View Handouts. And in there's Romulan Handout. Just showed it to chat. That is a Romulan, for anybody that doesn't know. Very militaristic society. They hold themselves to be very logical, but most of the rest of the universe would refer to them as sociopaths.
They're mean Vulcans.
They're really mean Vulcans. That's basically what it boils down to. Logic combined with a irrepressible need to dominate. But you see one of them raising a nasty-looking pistol. They fire disruptor weapons. There is, unlike your weapons, the phaser, which has a setting, stun or kill. There's no such setting on a disruptor. If it hits you, they're shooting to kill. With that,
I remember a scene from Next Generation involving that.
go here.
Phaser rifle Type 3 has 17 settings. 3 of them need to be used to kill. The Romulan disruptor pistol has 37. Only one of them is lethal. All of them are painful.
So,
I am pointing out the Romulan to the others.
absolutely. So thank you for doing that while I moved you guys to the screen. So you guys can now see this map here, and you can also, in a moment, you will be able to see a Romulan pops up out of the hillside in front of you, pistol raised. You got the drop on them because you passed that test. What do you say? You said you tell your teammates. What do you actually say?
Look alive, everybody. There's a Romulan right there.
With that, we drop into our first combat. There is no initiative in this game, so to speak. We start, generally speaking, if you guys would, like in this case, because you have a reason to have won this, one of you gets to go first, then one of them, then one of you, then one of them, and we alternate back and forth until they're all done, and then we go around again. In this instance, it's obvious who gets to go first. Even though you yell that out, Gyro, that's like the equivalent of a free action, just yelling. With that, it is
Everyone
now.
else has to react.
It is time to do that first action. Gyro, you're going first because in a combat turn, you can do one minor action or more if you pay momentum for them, but you haven't got any momentum yet. We'll get to that. And one task. Tasks are things like assist, attack, direct, guard, ready in action, or recover. Now, because you are a command officer, you are the only one who has access to direct. This allows you to immediately now allow another person to attempt a task, and you automatically assist. Or you can just do a regular task like shoot. To draw your weapon is a minor action.
Yeah.
So
the
Yeah,
Romulan
ask.
sees us and is actually raising its gun to attack us.
You are about to get shot. Yes.
I want to pull out my phaser, set to stun.
Yep.
and
That's
shoot
the
'em.
first question. Absolutely. First question is always lethal or non-lethal. If you guys choose lethal, it adds 1 to the threat because as soon as they see the color of the beam and know you're fighting to kill, they get nastier. But they do not in this instance. So you
Kevin,
pull out your phaser and have a shot. So you draw the phaser. That's your free action, or your free action. And then as your task, you fire it at this Romulan. So go ahead. If you click on your token at the bottom of the screen, you've got your hotbar. Just click on the little phaser. 2 successes. I didn't mention combat always requires 2 successes to hit. So you do, you pull it out, flip it to stun and hit the firing stud. It hits them. So go ahead and roll us 3 challenge dice. So also on that bar, there's those numbers off to the right-hand side. If you hit 3, it will automatically roll the challenge dice. Wow. You do 4 points of damage out of the 10 that they had.
Can I still tell my crew something?
Absolutely.
Can I
Yeah.
still talk?
Minor actions are free.
I am going to tell them to get to cover just in case.
Absolutely. That is a free yell. So, yes, the shot hits them. You see them kind of numb for a second and then just like somebody ignoring a taser. And they come back out of it and just pull the pistol the rest of the way back up. You yell out, "Get under cover!" and leap for cover yourself.
Yep.
The Romulan fires back.
Kevin,
Yes. Yeah.
as with quick to action, can I
Oh, yes.
or can somebody else go instead of me, or is it I have to go after being able to ignore the momentum cost of keep the initiative on the first turn?
Right. So yes, you can do that now. You can only do it once before one of them gets to go, and you get to ignore that cost. So normally it would cost 2 momentum. You don't have any, but you don't need any because you have that ability. So yes, you just snap react, and you look up. Your first officer has fired a shot. He's hit this Romulan up in the hills. What would you like to do?
So my thought was to use, the defensive tactic focus to see if there's a spot on the ground that's kind of covered.
Yeah.
To at least try to pull one of the people I'm with kind of back there. Kind of
Absolutely.
to a more
Yeah.
defended position.
Absolutely, you can do that. Give me a fitness and which of those disciplines do you think? Fitness is just to physically draw them back there. Science?
Security makes the most sense.
Security, yeah.
That's
Security is all your
in
attack stuff.
combat.
So yeah, fitness and security. Let's do that.
So that's going to be roll task with focus.
Yes, because you are focused on this. So yeah. Too many attributes
I
selected.
did a thing wrong.
You have to unselect
You tried
the
to-
ones
yeah.
you don't use.
Yeah.
It doesn't go.
It doesn't
one
like
at a time.
4 attributes. It gets confused. 2 successes on 2. Oh, wow. So again, you who is it you grab? Okay, I should tell you. The pistol is pointed at your first officer because they're the one that shot at them. So Gyro
Yeah.
yelled, "Get under cover!" Or pew,
Listen
or
to
whatever.
yourself. Yoink.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I think I'll grab Gyro on my way down.
absolutely. And you just haul them. Gyro, do you allow yourself to be pulled behind a rock to safety?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Excellent. Down beside your doctor, giving you this stink eye. Like, come on, shot really? First round?
My eyes are still locked on that Romulan. Like the smile is gone. I have a look of pure determination and gritted teeth.
Absolutely. So that Ramen is still going to fire at you, but now that you're under cover, they require 3 successes instead of 2. They have threat. I start every scene with 8 threat to spend. So I have many dice to spend. I'm going to spend 2 of them on this shot. Which gives me 4 dice. Technically, you're supposed to tell me if you burn momentum. Once you get them, you get to tell me you burn it before you actually shoot. So, ranged attack. 1 success. The additional task dice. 1. No more. So only 1 success.
Excuse me.
Ooh.
So
Oh no, they require no. Pardon me. Your one success
3.
out of 3. This did nothing. So yeah, they shoot the rock.
They hit the rock.
yeah,
real
I
good.
was gonna
Yeah.
ask about one of my talents, which is tough.
Yep. That's if
But
you're
I
hit,
don't-
right? Yeah, you're
Yeah.
not hit. You get pulled aside, and the disruptor blast goes right where you were and hits this sort of little pile of volcanic rock. And you've seen videos, you maybe even seen a test firing on the range, but this is the first time in the real world you watch something disrupt. What a disruptor does is disconnects all the electromagnetic connections in what it hits. So it just comes apart into its constituent atoms. Things
Yeah,
just
that's
got,
bad. That's
things
bad.
just got
That's very, very
real.
bad.
Yeah. 2 of you have gone. One of them is gone now. Sky, what are you doing?
Well, number one, rock seems cool, especially after that demonstration. So yeah, other than taking cover behind a rock, that seems smart.
Yep.
There is the concern about how can we still improve the situation, because just shooting someone with superior weapons, just it seems like either a slow, because all they would need to do is take cover behind a rock too, and then we're
Yep.
in big trouble.
Then you're in this
So I'm looking
ridiculous
for-
spot.
So
I love
I'm looking for any kind of additional advantage other than just sitting here wasting time shooting shots.
I will ask you the same question I asked somebody else earlier: insight or reason into looking this, because you're looking for an advantage, and I have an idea what that advantage might be. I just want to know how you're looking for it. You sort of just kind of glancing around and seeing what comes to mind, or are you logically trying to remember what you learned in strategy and tactics school, or
It would be more terrain places we could go and stuff. I'm expecting this with I went through what I wanted to do and then looked at what I could do from that. I have a focus on navigation, and that's probably a lot towards how she would think. So
absolutely, yeah. So you start
it's
looking
a
for
where
the,
can we go with stuff?
the logical thing to look for would be like a way to get to a flanking position so that their rock cover doesn't help, right? So give me reason and security. Yep, Bison, you gonna say?
I was going to say, according to the book,
Yeah.
insight is in a character's understanding about their environment and other people.
Yeah.
Reason is a character's logical and problem-solving ability.
Exactly, which is why I wanted to give those ones. I always like
Yeah,
to
that
give you
makes
the
sense. That
option,
makes-
right?
Both of those make sense, actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
Because Napoleon was famous for what they called trompe de l'oeil. I probably pronounced that completely wrong, but it's translated to the cut of the eye, and it's that moment where you see the precise place that the thing needs to happen, right? It's very insightful and intuitive compared to Wellington, his natural opponent, who was very by the book and by the rules. So
that's with focus then for navigation.
yeah, sure, absolutely. So yeah, give me reason and security with focus. 1 success. You figure out that you can. There is a position where you're going to be able to move to outflank them, where they won't get that cover. But doing it would now. That was your your task. You now have a minor action, which is move if you choose. So you
Well,
could
I
try
already
and
said I
make a
wanted
move to
rock.
that location.
Is it alright if I get up real quick?
Yeah.
First off, how far away is that? Because
It's-
between here, there's risk.
Oh yeah, running across this place is going to put you in the open, but I mean that's part of the training. Distance,
Because
you are at
some-
medium distance. There's this game has melee, short, medium, long, and really long, basically.
Some of the consideration is their obvious firing rate. The ideal way to do it is they shoot, then you go. Not they shoot, you wait a bit, and then go and they
You
shoot.
can do that too. One of the things you can do is to ready an action. Although that's a task, and you already did a task.
Okay.
So Yeah, I mean,
I'm gonna
Your
just take
choice.
the rock that's here.
okay, so you
Because
stay
I
under cover.
said it.
Yeah, you know where to
already
go to
fired.
provide to get out
wanted-
of that flanking position, but you don't. You haven't actually made the run.
So what the order I'm doing is I'm going to go behind the rock, and then I will figure out where to go from there. So I did all
Absolutely.
that.
So yeah, you're safely behind the rock. Perfect. Which brings us to sorry, Gyro, you said something, or was it just you needed to step away?
Just needed to step away.
Okay, perfect. In that case,
Me. Or another Romulan.
hang on a second. Come here. Bam. A second Romulan appears, pops up out of the rocks, and fires at Pete.
Oh no.
Oh, man, they're rolling poorly.
Okay, these guys are cadets too, so I don't
Two
feel so bad.
19s, yeah. It's just blam, blam. Two more rocks explode, one in the distance. Like it's, they missed badly, but two of them are now visible, which brings us to Pete. You're the only one who hasn't gone in the first round yet. Well, and no, Gyro started us, right? So
All right. So Peter's gonna dive behind some rocks, making a comment. He's like, maybe if they should aim first, it might actually hit something.
Yep.
He doesn't actually he doesn't say it like super loud. He just sort of like mutters to himself as he
Yep.
dives behind the rock.
Yep. The first round, drawing the weapon is your free action, but this gives me a good chance. If you want, again, you can't. You haven't got momentum yet because nobody's succeeded by more than you needed to. But
We
you
have a
can
bot in
give
chat, by the
me
way.
a. Sorry.
We have a bot in chat
Oh, do we?
as Max bullshit.
As
Sort of
Max.
become famous.
Delete.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. All right. Thank you. That completely confused me. What were we doing?
I was diving behind a rock. And
You were
then-
diving behind it, right? You're diving behind a rock, and right. It was the extra. You don't have momentum to burn, but you could give me a point of threat, and that would allow you one extra free action,
Let me
or
just-
one minor action. Sorry, I keep saying free
Restore
action,
point of
minor action.
determination, so I don't know if that's what you're talking about.
A store is a minor action, or draw is a minor action. So it would take that's to pull the weapon. But if you wanted another minor action to use aim, you could burn a momentum normally, but you don't have any momentum. But anytime you could burn momentum, you could also give me threat.
Actually, what I'm
Or
going
if you
to
got a
do-
special
so
ability. Yeah.
my minor action
Yep.
is going to be to move behind cover.
Okay,
My
that's your move.
task-
I see. Yeah.
My task is going to be assist. Since I went up to a point of vantage to try and get better signal,
Yeah.
I think my assumption is that I can see a little bit better than anyone else. So hey, maybe you should shoot that guy over there.
Absolutely. So to assist, give me a reason and security.
Okay.
And every success you roll adds one to whoever takes this advice, assuming that they also generate at least one success.
At the same time, I realize that I've completely given away my position.
Oh yeah, you are now the target. One success, one fumble. Okay.
The target.
Yeah, the fumble is you're going to be targeted. So
I told them where they are, and now they know where I am.
absolutely. So you're standing up there, lit against the noonday sun. He's right down there. Eh? You generate one success. So whoever takes your advice and shoots them, remember whoever it is that takes that gets one extra success, and you, Peter,
Are
are
in a
now
lot of
the
trouble.
target of these two. Which brings our first round to an end, and we alternate. So this round, one of them gets to go first. It was this guy. He shoots. There's no question at who. It's at Peter. Two
Oh, crap.
successes, Peter. Oh dear.
All right, how does this work then?
Well, I got to roll some damage here. Additional task dice. No, I didn't have to roll any of those. 3 challenge dice for this thing shooting you. Come on, you can do it. Okay. So you take 2 stress, and you are knocked down by the effect.
So now they can't see me. Oh,
You're-
that hurt.
You hit and you feel like sections of muscle and tissue just cease to be. Like you're just missing a chunk. That was weird.
Yeah, you just.
Yeah, I know. It's not
He's right there. Ow!
And you dropped there. You've taken 2 stress. You don't have to worry about that until you either get full or take more than 5 in one round.
Mhm.
With that, you are down. Back to the top. Let's go back up to Gyro. What are you doing? There's 2 of them now. One of them has already been hit once. They are tucked in amongst the rocks.
By the way, it's looking like what we're supposed to do is deduct that from health, so that we can see how each other's doing.
Yeah,
Oh,
you can
I
do
see.
that as well. You do have a health bar. Yeah,
Yeah, I'll do that.
it is. In fact, you should have a little bar at the top that says your
Yeah.
character's name. And the first thing looks like a target, and it's if you hover over it, it says heal damage HP. Maybe you
It's
guys don't
DM
have that?
only.
No? Okay. In that case,
But I
bottom
can
left.
do that from.
If you go to the
can do that
bottom
from your
left, you
character-
can justify it on. You can change it on your token there.
Yeah, you can do it from the character sheet if you press spacebar and then click on whichever half is.
You can also, on the lower left, you'll see the 10 out of 10. You can click on that like a text field.
Yeah, it's kind of what I was doing, just with extra steps.
Exactly. See, look at us learning. Look at us learning Astral.
Hey,
The upshot of that is there's at least 2 ways to do damn near everything in this game, and you can use these action hotkeys at the bottom, and you can play this just like a video game. You can program just about every option onto a hotkey if you choose to do so. That'll work better on some of the other games than this one. But back to this one. Gyro, what are you doing?
What does the guerrilla tactics focus do?
Oh, this is absolutely guerrilla. This is not big form fighting. This is guerrilla tactics, which means you get to roll with focus, which means every success you roll counts as 2 successes.
Okay. We were not supposed to get into a fight. We're in a fight. They technically
I mean,
started.
You did not have an option here. Let me be very, very clear. They started this absolutely 100%, and very, very shortly you're going to find out why. But yeah, I like that shock. Like, what are you doing? Like, we're not supposed to be doing this. I'm responsible. But how do you respond? They're shooting at you and your crew. In fact, they just knocked down your big goofy engineer. You know he's in trouble. He's Canadian, and he just said, "Oh, geez."
I'm going to look at Salan. Go see if you can help him. I'm going to keep these guys' attention.
I was going to wait between the shooting, but thank you for the advice.
Hey, it's cover fire.
So you're
Look at that. Peter's now in the moon.
Yeah, we're just moving people around just so we know approximately where they are.
So could I actually use focus with a gunshot though?
Absolutely. Yes. Guerrilla warfare is, you realize that this rocky environment is perfect for this. They have no way of knowing where you're moving. So you go into full goblin in D&D mode. Maybe at Star Trek Academy, you guys played D&D, and you know that goblins, it's move, shoot, hide. It's magnificent. It is the
Same
ultimate
with
combination.
kobolds.
So yeah, exactly. So you scurry along behind some rocks, pop up in a crack in the rock, and absolutely roll with focus.
How do I?
On the top of your character sheet, there's roll task and then roll task with focus. Just click on that one instead. And this is you also have to pick your attribute and your discipline for ranged attacks. That is security and where is it? It's automatic. I wrote it here.
Daring?
Daring, yes. No, daring is physical. I think it's control and security. Hang on.
I mean, I think it would be control because like you covering fire.
Well, let's do it this way. Hit the phaser button,
Oh, it's
And-
control security.
and it will tell us what it is. Control security is what the option is.
Oh,
Okay,
Romulan
perfect.
fired
There you
earlier.
go. Perfect. Phaser type 2. 2 successes automatically. because you rolled a crit. Because of that, I'm also going to give you 1 momentum because I just get the feeling like I haven't given you any, and I should have by now.
Wouldn't the phaser button there not have gone over and
It actually
done anything
doesn't.
with
You're right.
focus?
But you're absolutely right. However, a 1 automatically counts as 2 successes, so it is as if it was as if it has used focus. But in that case, to do that in future, what we'll do is click. Now that we know what it is, control security, and then roll with focus.
Okay.
So, but in fact, why don't we do that, and we'll see which result is better, and we'll take that. So just. This is how we turn a learning experience into a chance for something even better than what's already happened. See, there you go. Never mind. We'll take that first one. 2 successes. You've got them on non-lethal. So what, you were trying to hit them, or you were just trying to pin them down?
I always have my phaser set to stun.
Yep, absolutely. We determined that at the start. So you're shooting them. Perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
So give me then 3 challenge dice, to see how much damage is done. 3 damage, and they're knocked down again.
Wouldn't this have applied Peter's assist for shooting?
Yes, it would. Thank you. Thank you
If
so
Gyro
much.
took it or not.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, absolutely. So that's 1 extra success. So, well, perfect. Thank you, because I knew it had to happen, but I didn't know why. I gave you guys the momentum, and I was like, hey, I feel like I should give you one. It's because I should have, at exactly that moment, given you one. Thank you, Lanny, for reminding me of why. Because you had the 1
Gyro
extra
did
success.
take it because they
Yeah.
listened to their crew.
Absolutely. So, blam, 3 damage. It still does the same amount of damage to them. 3 more. This one now slumps forward over the rock, and you can see they're having trouble with their motor skills because they are, for the most part, stunned at this
Take
point.
that, you hoser.
The other one, the second one, pops up from the rocks, seeing that you're down. This one's going to fire at behind the rocks. Can't see the captain because you're hiding. He's going to fire at Solan as you sort of get ready to scurry across. But Solan, you are a Vulcan. These are Romulans. There is a similar language structure. As this one pops up, go ahead. You look like you were going to say something.
I was going to say my plan for the turn was actually to hold for him to shoot and then move after he shot.
Okay.
So I don't know if that changes.
That'll
what
make his
happens in the
difficulty
scene.
3 instead of 2. Yeah, absolutely. But as he pulls up and gets ready to line up the shot, you hear him scream something in Romulan. You don't speak Romulan, but like I said, it's close enough to Vulcan. You hear the words that mean, you did this. You killed them. And then he pulls the trigger. And he is going to burn 2 threat. So I'm going to roll the shoot, and then I am going to roll 2 extra dice. So, ranged attack. 1 success. 2 extra dice. 2 successes. 3 successes.
Just broke that too.
Just broke that too. So they get 1 threat. Success. Same way you guys do. And you are hit.
No, that was just
Wait.
enough to hit.
Yeah, that was just
It
enough
wasn't
because
an
it's still
extra.
behind rock.
Oh, because he's behind the rock. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Did I mention it's my first time playing this game too?
Hey,
Thank you,
that's
everybody,
like-
for this. Is why I play with a team, because a team is always better at remembering the rules than one person is.
Hey, as long
this
as we
is-
remember a different part, we're set.
Then we're set. Absolutely. So the damage for that, 3 challenge dice, 2 damage, and 2 effects. Solan, you take 2 stress. You are knocked down, and you are disoriented. Like you're not going to be. You were going to plan on making that run after this. That's not going to happen. You're essentially going to lose that ability on this round. So let's go to you. What do? You can't. You were going to run over and help your engineer, who is lying on his side in the dirt. I like that. In fact, I like this idea. Let's turn you and put you on your side as well.
I thought it was clever. Once I realized I could actually.
There you
use
go. You're also injured.
There is it It locks to 90 degrees.
It locks on the 90s, yeah.
Yeah.
This way, if you're injured again, just go to upside down. That way we know. So we should reserve this for when you're actually injured, not for when you've just taken damage. But anyway.
Yeah, because this is I've only got stress. I'm not actually
Exactly. So yeah, Solan, you have taken 2 points of stress, and you are unable to run at this point, but you are still hidden behind your rock, and you still have stuff you can do. What would you like to do?
So if I'm getting this right, movement isn't an option right now.
Yes, I would say yeah. You can't. Your kind of legs have kind of gone out from under you.
Oh, I know you only get. I mean, really, given that kind of situation, he's probably gonna. If I'm guessing that meant that he was kind of peeking out from the rock just a little bit.
Yeah.
Or have gotten hit, unless they moved.
I can do this. There we go. Yes.
So I'm not entirely sure what's going on there.
Yep. You've got
I
a
mean-
clear shot at one of them because he popped up to shoot you. So I know you're the
not being able
doctor.
to go get, head towards the person who fell over. I think he probably would.
Okay.
But even though it's not really like him to really take the shot like that, but he
Well, here-
kind of stuck there.
I know how we can do this and not mess. Well, okay, I'll give you this option because one of the tasks you can do is the equivalent of sprint. It's like to use your task to run instead of using your minor action. So if you want to give that up and just run there, you won't be able to do anything when you get there. But if you burn your task to get there rather than just your minor action, I would allow this. I hate that sentence.
Okay. Oh dear. Yeah. So I guess kind of given that he definitely would still be trying to make his way over. He may not necessarily go the entire way.
Yeah.
Especially if Peter's kind of staying on the ground at the very least. So he's going to try to find somewhere it's kind of.
Yeah, Peter
Or if
sort
he's
of
on top of
collapsed on
something,
top
he's
of a
kind
bump at the top of a little hill.
He's going
Yeah,
to at least
you
go
can scoot up
behind
his
that
head.
little hill.
Exactly.
I'm kind
yeah.
of technically behind cover at this point. I just
Yeah.
sort of popped. I was like, "Hey, he's over there!" Ow!
Yeah. So yes, Solan, you make it to Peter, but don't have anything left to be able to help him this turn.
Yeah. So I'd still have had to take something like half movement to stand up or whatever this system is.
Yeah, it's
dear.
technically it's a free a minor action, but I wasn't too worried about that. So
Right. That's cool.
Are they behind cover at this point?
at this point, all of you are behind cover. So all these everything is
What about now?
three hits instead of two. The two of them at this point are no longer behind cover. They've popped up and they're staying in firing positions. So,
One of them is stunned.
yes, the one with the least hit points there is all but unconscious.
We're not seeing health.
Sky.
And
Okay, so the one
also-
closest to you is very low. Yeah.
Okay.
I can't see Sky.
Oh, it's doing that again. Can the rest of you see Sky? Their token?
Yeah, I can see their token.
I don't see a sky, but it was not entirely
Like,
sure where they
I
went.
can see them when I open up the stream, but I don't see them in the game.
Okay, we had a similar thing happen. I thought I'd fix this because we had a similar thing happen in the other game. I will go to the fine folks at Astral and figure out what I have done wrong because it is invariably me and not the system.
I know
but-
there's like a view in like hidden in the character sheet.
There is
You might
hidden,
back-
but
clicked on that.
that's why I asked if the others could see because this is the same thing we had the other night. But we'll figure that out off stream. Sky, what would, because we're going to close on Gyro this time. Sky, what would you like to do? Sky?
Oh,
Hello.
me. Hi.
There's a position you could
Yeah.
move that would put you in a place where you would not be shooting with the extra difficulty to hit them.
There's some cool for that, but we've seen people continuously try to reposition and get shot at. There's plenty convincing arguments for it. Yeah. To relocate, I still needed a new plan.
Yep.
So the background you're using for this though gives me what's potentially an idea. Between us and them is a whole freak ton of sand, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yep. Sand, rocks, and little hillocks, and all kinds of stuff.
What does
Various
my
chest high walls.
what does my little shooty thingy do to sand?
Turns it into very nice glass.
That's not as useful.
The laser pistol.
Well, yeah, because if I manage to cause a sand cloud, that just throwing a sand cloud just in front of them would be a great way to build cover.
You can
You can also
try.
just throw a sand cloud.
Pocket sand.
The
Pocket
what?
sand.
You can shoot the ground and try and make it. Absolutely, yeah. If that's what you want to try, yeah.
Shoot a rock. Make it
You get the
explode.
very strong impression
there you
that these two are not going to stop attacking you. They are ferociously angry at you. You don't know why, but they appear to be enraged.
Well, yeah, but that's why, half the benefit is, if they are going to keep shooting,
Yep.
make sure that everywhere is cover because
Absolutely.
they can't see.
Okay, you bet. Then in that case, give me a phaser attack against the ground. So your difficulty is actually 0 because it's not a. Well, this is a way to generate momentum as well, right? So
It's how much do you phase?
yeah,
Okay, fine.
1 success. So you do create a cloud between you and them. That is effectively going to affect their ability to shoot. You also gained 1 momentum. So you did, and it puffs up in front of them. They now cannot see you. Now would be an excellent time to move.
Yeah, so it sounds like a great opportunity to make use of the plan that I've
So
been
then you,
working up.
So then you trot off into a flanking position. We'll put you down there for now, just to show.
Which also means they don't know I'm in a flanking position.
Absolutely.
Hey.
Yeah, they are pretty much unaware of. Well, they know where 2 of you are right now. Speaking of people, they don't know where they are though. Gyro.
Oof.
I'll give you, though, that cover goes 2 ways in this instance.
Yes, to some extent. Yep.
Well, I have a talent for detecting hidden enemies,
Yep. So that would
So-
absolutely, yeah.
and it would reduce the difficulty by 1.
So that takes
in
it back
that
to yeah.
instance, it's
Yeah.
just memorization, right? They were there.
They
I
were
just
right there.
shoot like
Pop. So
that.
absolutely. So we're going
Gyro,
to take your
like-
difficulty back down to 2. Yeah.
Throughout this entire fight, Gyro's eyes have not moved away from those Romulans. Even when the second one
Absolutely.
popped up, they're keeping an eye on them.
Yes. Well, yeah, you know exactly where they are. So just to anybody looking from the outside, it looks like a blind shot, but there is no disadvantage that you've got at all. So go ahead and give us that shot. Are you using any of these momentums that you guys are starting to build? You can never have more than 6. So you've got 2 right now.
The one closest to us is practically stunned.
1 more hit, looks like they'll be down. Yeah.
I want to shoot at the fresh one.
Okay. So go ahead and give us that shot. Are you burning any momentum or generating any extra dice?
How do I use the momentum?
You just burn 1 and you get an extra die.
Yeah, let's do that.
You guys can also, now that you're starting to build some up, there's other things you can do with momentum. They're on that sheet that is in your handouts. But the short version of what you can do with momentum is you can add a point of damage. So if you ever wanted to add 1 point of damage to an attack, you just burn a momentum to do that. You can disarm an opponent. I should have mentioned that earlier, considering 2 of you are trying not to kill people. You can shoot the weapon out of their hand. The reason I didn't mention it is because it falls right next to them within reach. So it's just it's like a minor action for them to pick it up. So they can't aim and shoot if you shoot it out of their hands. You can also buy an extra minor action, as I mentioned earlier, now that you guys have got one. So say you get 1 free minor action. If you wanted a second one, you burn a momentum, you get a second one. If you burned 2 more momentum, you'd get a third one. You can also keep the initiative, which means 2 of you get to go in a row, but that costs 2. You can penetrate, but nothing in this one has got armor. You can re-roll your damage for 1 momentum. So if you roll poorly, you can tell me you want to roll again, burn 1 momentum, and do it again. You can avoid an injury. Nobody's had an injury yet. That's when you get to 10 stress or take more than 5 in 1 attack, you get an injury. You can avoid that by burning 2 momentum. You can have a secondary target, so somebody else takes damage as well as the person that you attacked. And the big one, you can do a swift task. So for 2 momentum, which is everything you guys have got as a pool, you can do 1 additional task, but the difficulty goes up by 1. But having said all that, what would you like to do?
So I could use all of our momentum to hit both of them if I really wanted.
You absolutely, because you could burn 1 momentum to give yourself 3 dice to attack with instead of 2. And then you could burn another momentum. Oh, no, sorry. Secondary target is 2. So yeah, if you burn them both, the first one would take full damage. The second one would take half damage.
Would you guys be okay if I did that?
You're the first officer.
Well, one of them's nearly down.
Exactly. This
So
is
I
a
want,
brilliant.
I
This
want
is
to do
brilliant.
more damage to the fresh one, and
Absolutely. This is really smart use of the momentum. So I will take the 2 momentum away. You
Okay.
roll us 3 dice. So roll the phaser and then next to it the additional die. Oh, hang on. Don't. Do it the way we did before. We need control
Control,
and security,
security,
and
and then
then
3 dice.
with focus. Yeah. And
With
roll
focus?
with focus because this is guerrilla warfare. So all of that.
Extra dice.
And then they get 1 more die.
Oh yeah, you get 1 more die. So roll that one right next to the phaser. There should be one that says additional dice, additional task die.
It's also located on the top of the sheet. Challenge die 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
4, 5, 6.
Roll task with
oh,
focus.
just 1.
Should be just under roll with focus.
And actually, that's 2 successes because it rolled with focus. Each success is supposed to count as 2.
That wasn't.
No, that was a
challenge
challenge
dice.
die.
So
Just
you
roll
have
the. It's okay. It's okay. This is the first time we used it. It's all good.
Wait.
Uh,
Oh,
just
she wanted the additional die just below
Yeah, it's
the
roll
roll.
task.
yeah, just roll task, just without focus, and it will add us 1.
There you go.
There you go. We'll take that. Absolutely. 3 successes, which is what you needed to hit, so they take full damage. Now, your weapon does 3 challenge dice of damage.
Oh, hold on. You did say that she could avoid worrying about cover here because of her ability. So that
Well,
is
she
needs
offset
to
that
roll
down
3.
to 2 and then back up to 3. So,
Oh, okay.
Yes, 3 damage, and we're going to round for the other one. So, this one.
Customs. They got hosed.
Remember, he said the one that was stunned just needed 1 more hit.
Yep, absolutely.
And we got one that hasn't even been touched.
What's he got? Just finish this.
You get a phaser beam. And you get a phaser beam.
That one's done. In fact, let's just make him go away. You shoot at the new healthy one, the one that is screaming at the top of their lungs, just rage pouring out of them, and you pop off the shot and hit them, and you bounce it off in such a way that the phaser skims off and hits that second one who was already all but stunned, and it sort of gets a little bit of overblast, and you see them just drop onto the rock and just go limp. They are unconscious and out of the battle. The other
There's
one,
a
this is the
Viking
first
set.
time they've been hit, but they've been knocked back quite a bit, and they're looking in rough shape. Well, not in rough shape, but they're looking like they're losing this fight.
Phasers do have a wide beam setting.
Yeah, exactly.
And
So yeah, you
she's-
just set it on
Skyro
spread.
has a
Yeah.
type 2.
So yeah, you shoot the, it's like a shotgun blast, a phaser blast. So perfect. That's that. The final remaining Romulan gets what is probably his final attack. He's shooting at Solan again because they're those kind of bastards. You are behind cover, so they need 3 successes. They have
Hold on. Solon is behind cover and through a smoke screen.
So they need 4 successes. So they're burning 3 threats, so they get 5 dice. This is it. I mean, this is them trying to survive. So that's 2,
Whiff.
3, 4, 5. Wow, only 2 successes. So they lean over and aim down, draw down on your medical officer of all people. Like, what kind of bastard shoots the medical officer first? But he doesn't. The only thing this group has been really dangerous to on this planet has been the rocks. Just another chunk of the terrain is violently disposed of.
Not very smart. Not shooting at the person, shooting at them.
Nope. This one was they were This goes back to D&D logic. Always shoot the cleric first, because if you kill the healer, then the wizard. Like if you're really thinking about it, you take out the cleric first, and then the wizard, and then the tanks.
The one in the dress.
Yeah, Yeah, anybody wearing a dress gets taken out first. That's the old D&D rule. With that,
And that's
one
why I like
Romulan
being the
remains.
tank with a dress. This is the best way to do it.
That sounds
Tank
like
with a
me.
dress.
All three of you that remain have all got an action to take at this point. What would you like to do? Pete.
Pete is going to. He's already behind cover.
Yep.
What are my minors? Oh, he's no longer prone. That's his minor action.
Yep. So you
he's
stand
still
back up.
behind cover.
Yep.
He's no longer prone, and he's not too happy about the fact that somebody took a pot shot at him.
Yep. You look down and there's like, it's, you know, doctrine's really good in the 33rd century, but still, like, there's a chunk missing. You can
Yeah,
see
I mean,
bone.
I just
It's-
got this uniform.
It's been
pressed,
vaporized. Yeah.
and there's a huge chunk out of it. Like,
and there's no mending in
what?
this game. So
what a
it-
jerk, eh? So
Is this the
I-
one that shot him?
it's kind of hard to tell. He just stood back up. There's only
I
one
can't
left.
tell at
So
this point. They're angry and they have pointy ears.
yeah. And he's been shot.
Yeah. So I hit him.
2 successes. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because like I said, they're not behind cover. So go ahead and roll 3 damage. 3 challenge
2
days.
damage. I have a type 1.
Oh, okay. Thank you for your honesty. 1 damage to them.
I think that's how it works. Let me double check. Oh no, it is 3.
It is 3. Okay, so roll 1
Achoo.
more.
Uh,
So 2 damage. That's
And one of those
and an
A
effect.
things.
That's an effect. And with your phaser, the effect is knocked down. So
yeah,
you-
sorry, on stun.
yeah,
I
on
should
stun.
probably
So you
mention
hit
that
them,
now.
and he kind of. It's like watching an MMA fighter or a boxer take one clean on the chin. He already wasn't in cover because he was standing up, and he kind of just stumbles out from behind the rock. He's having a real hard time staying vertical.
Your spare parts, bud.
Sky. I want to save the doctor for last. Sky, what are you doing? You're in this wonderful position now. He has no idea you're here.
So yeah, I think I've set up this opportunity. I'm gonna have to take it.
Absolutely. So give us a phaser attack.
Use your minor to aim.
You can do that too. Yeah. Actually, yeah. If
Yeah.
you use your minor to aim, then you can re-roll one of the result dice. So
Okay, yeah, we'll do this one. So I'll push
By
him
the
out.
way, Gyro's eyes narrow at the spare parts.
So I should point out though, you said I needed 1 because
Yep.
I've got an opportunity
Yep.
shot and
Absolutely.
I rolled 2
Yep. So you
and I'm
did.
aiming.
Yep. Absolutely. So you get a momentum for what it's worth.
Nice.
A little late in the battle, but yeah, absolutely. And 2 successes. Yeah, you slam into them. Go ahead and roll us. Go ahead and roll us your damage. So it's
I
3
don't know how
challenge
that-
days.
3 challenged. Yeah.
On that hot bar at the bottom, there's a number 3.
Yeah. I'll press the bar at the top.
That works too. Wherever it is for you. So 2 more damage. Second.
2 customs.
Yeah, 2 damage.
By
2
the way-
customers.
One thing that I'm going to definitely call because it was cool the last time. I want to aim for their feet, just so that you know.
Yeah.
I'm hoping, as everyone keeps pointing out. So aiming for the sand seems to cause a dust cloud and glass. I want him to stick to the ground.
You aim for the feet, you hit. They were already prone from the previous attack, so you kind of shoot them in the legs, and you get that. You know the feeling. You've been shot with a phaser on stun. It's like, it's part of your training, right? That you got.
Yeah, like
they've got the worst pins and needles, like your dead leg syndrome. That is known to humankind, and yeah, you have part of it has absolutely. It's made of sort of a little glass table that the feet are sitting on. They're not really stuck to it, but they are sitting on a glass surface. Absolutely, I'll give you that.
I'm seeing this guy pop up, yell something, and then just phasers from every direction.
Yeah, absolutely.
The big thing with the big thing with mine, and it was a backup for that, is that if they are not stuck to the ground, glass is slippery. Good luck
Absolutely,
getting
it
up.
is. Yep, absolutely. We're going to finish this off. First Officer Gyro. Oh, sorry, forgot our medical officer. That's right. I forgot all about our medical officer.
who, if he could, he would be slightly annoyed at the person who, he's about, was on the ground. Okay, cool. I can work with you here.
Yeah,
And you get up and shot
stands
somebody.
up. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So yes.
Oh, hey Doc, how's it
If
going?
I could be mad at you, I would.
You can't really be mad. You
This is
can't
on
really
if.
be mad at Gyro because she told you to leave if you felt like it.
Yeah.
Sorry, they. Damn it.
I had the same problem, Hellhounds. I
With,
was working with an it that had a very male personality, so that didn't help me at all.
So you can do your healing. It is. I'm sure you know the what you're supposed to roll for that.
All it says is first aid is helping
Oh no,
somebody. It
that's
does
not first aid. It's the other one.
Recover.
I interpreted recovery as like you recovering versus helping somebody else. Is
Okay,
it still
yeah.
the same role?
Yeah.
It's
So yeah,
recover ability to avoid an injury, recover to
first aid. I mean, yeah, reason and medicine, right? I mean that's what you'd roll, right?
Yeah.
So it's
Give me that.
medicine reason, and they're saying, well, because of first response, an extra D20.
Okay. So yeah, roll
Everybody's D20
roll
during
3
combat
then.
encounter.
Yeah. And heal difficulty. We're just going to give you 1 stress back for each one that you succeed on. I think that's how it works. I don't remember.
Would you say this is emergency or not anymore?
No, he's not even at half.
Okay.
So,
So just roll task with an additional die.
exactly. Yeah. 3 successes. So you recover 3 points. I think that's how it works. I don't remember. That's how it works now. Yeah, Peter,
that's
as you
to
stand
Peter.
up. Sorry?
That's for Peter. As
Yes,
well.
for Peter, yeah. So the cool thing with Star Trek healing is you hold up your tricorder and go, brrrr, and it physically starts to grow back in place. It's that quick. So Peter, 3
With
points
the-
back. That's all you had, right?
I only had two stress, but I was gonna say it's like with the extra one, it's like, hey, you're kind of bleeding right there, eh? Probably take that.
That's probably fine.
Are you sure?
So
It's
yeah,
just kinda
Peter,
green.
your arm is rebuilt, but the uniform is still gone. So that shoulder is still exposed.
He fingers the hole with his.
Ooh, geez.
I just got this.
He waves a beepy machine. Suddenly, a police box appears in the distance.
So,
Hey,
first
the doctor
officer
does exist in
Gyro,
Star
I'm going to
Trek.
give you the option. We're done rolling dice. This guy is just like, who's taking this guy out? Is the only
Everybody
question.
took him
Who's
out at
finally
same
doing the?
time. I like the idea of him popping up and then everyone
And then
just
just
late phaser.
and he drops. Absolutely, let's do that. In a hail of phaser fire, the 2 Romulans drop behind the rocks. Nothing
Gyro's
but the
gonna run over and
sound
take
of the
their
wind.
guns.
You run over and reach down and grab their disruptor pistols. As you look over the hill, you see a crashed Romulan shuttlecraft.
Uh-oh.
Smashed
Well, I've never
nose
seen
first
one
into
of
the
those
dirt.
before.
There's several bodies pulled. They've been taken out and put like sort of in a respectful little row, covered in silver sheets, just outside the ship.
Oh shit! I don't think that's gonna take off again.
But at the moment, only Gyro sees that because you're the one that ran up there.
Oh, okay.
So, first officer, what are you doing with that information?
Well, now that I've taken their weapons,
Yeah.
just as gotta be safe.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna come back to the others. Look at Solan and Peters and also Sky. Are you all right?
Well, my
everyone
ego's a
okay?
little bruised, but I'll be okay.
Yeah,
Very
Peter's
good
got
morning.
that recently healed flesh look and a big hole in his,
It looks
in
like a
his
sunburn.
jersey. Yeah. Solan
I was gonna say
is,
it's nice and clean and baby smooth compared to the rest of you.
Solan
Yeah.
is injured. There is a chunk of Solan missing.
Oof. Oh dear. I'm gonna look to Peters. There's a crashed Romulan ship over there.
Oh, I never played with one of those before.
I am
This is
gonna
just-
hand him the 2 guns though.
He takes them by the barrels to make
Mhm.
sure that you can't, accidentally discharge them.
Yep.
And opens his briefcase, the toolbox of crap,
Yeah.
finds a spot for it. Oh, I sure hope that's a safety.
I don't want to leave these Romulans here completely defenseless. I just want us to be safe for now.
Oh no, I understand. Take it from me. It hurts like a bitch.
You, as you hit that safe, there is a safety on these disruptors, but you also realize there's a connection, not unlike a comm badge and your guys. It would require, for any of you to use this weapon, would require you spending an hour or so kind of bypassing this security option.
Okay.
Right now, the only person that
Typical.
could fire them are these two unconscious Romulans.
Well, better safe than sorry.
Yeah.
Or sorry, better safe than sorry.
So the four of you look down into this little valley with the crashed Romulan ship. What do you do? Sky, actually. You look at this and you can tell. Actually, give me a reason and con roll. I want you to reason this out for us.
In case there's any kind of focus, does anything?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Roll with focus. Absolutely, because this is
Okay.
about who was piloting this when it crashed, like what you can tell from the crash.
Okay. Fine.
That's enough to figure out most of this. What you figure out, this ship was under manual command when it was crashed. There was not a machine in control. This was a human that did, or a Romulan that was flying this when it hit the ground. There appears to be all kinds of things wrong with the way that this came down. Its landing gear never came out. It came in nose first. It came in way too fast. It came in way too steep. It was out of control when it crashed. Peter, you can tell from up here this thing ain't going anywhere. It is wrecked. Salan, those bodies are, even from this range, are showing signs of being destroyed in the crash. Like, massively destroyed in a major crash. What do you do?
This place is supposed to not have signs of things that are beyond it, right?
I'm not quite sure what you mean.
Like having a space shuttle just left here is not exactly cool.
This is absolutely the shuttle that the two Romulans that you just knocked out appear to be the only two survivors of. Solan, at this point, you remember what one of them was yelling. You did this. You killed them.
Is there phaser, evidence of any kind of combat, structural damage that would be consistent with phaser fire?
Give me a reason and engineering as you scan the ship from a distance.
Okay. And I'm going to use damage reporting procedures as a focus.
Yes, perfect. So with focus.
2 successes.
2 successes.
Lots of successes.
You figure out, this makes sense. You figure out they must have been coming in trying to do what you did with the transporter, trying to time it to a lull in this field, and they got caught in a swell. Whatever pulsed out took away control of the ship, and that's what caused them to crash.
Got too close.
I sort of look over to Gyro and the rest. I'm like, well, it looks like that they tried to do what we did, but bad luck, eh? I mean, they didn't quite make it, and they got hit with whatever anomaly is going on right now, and it just knocked their systems out, and they hit like a rock.
So they got
Peter.
too close.
The ship is not on fire. I don't know why it's on fire in this image, but it isn't. That would be counterproductive. Yes, Gyro, it appears very much they got too close with too complicated a piece of equipment. Their
Hey, I can see
systems
Sky now.
shut down, and it crashed.
And I can't.
We
No,
switched
you can't.
places there.
Okay, that's really, really strange.
Peter,
Okay.
do you think the part that we're missing would be available from this craft?
Oh, I don't know, eh? I mean, Romulan technology is a fair bit different from what we use in the Federation. I'd have to go peeking around to check, but it's possible.
I mean, you said it's basically just a tube that goes from the power in to the power out.
Yeah, but we use dilithium crystals, and as far as I know, the Romulans don't. So
No, they don't.
we're gonna have to take a look-see first, take a pop under the hood.
For our serious Star Trek fans out there, this shuttle of theirs does not have cloaking technology. So no, they're not going to be able to steal that in the very first episode.
Yeah, no.
I mean this with no offense, but nerd.
Oh, I take that as a compliment.
No, the
We're all
bird-
nerds. We're all
the birds of
Absolutely.
prey were the smallest craft they could get away with.
Absolutely,
By the
yes,
next
yeah.
generation, they were capable of doing it on their battleships, but nobody knew that.
Yes. So with this, you guys have a poke around in this wreckage and you come to this final conclusion. This crew was sent here. They probably were responding to the same SOS you guys originally were responding to, which, by the way, there is no trace of since you've landed. And they crashed because they chose to try and land this ship here rather than teleporting down like you guys did.
Romulans are pretty impulsive. I wouldn't be surprised.
Is that a Star Wars walker?
I saw that too.
Yeah,
Kinda
it's
looks
kind of, I
like-
don't know why it's there.
It
I
looks
didn't
like
pick
an
these
AT-AT
images.
walker behind the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where? What?
I'm
near-
next to one.
Yeah, right next to Gyro. It looks like there's
Yeah, that's kind of the body of it. I like
There's one next to Salon too.
Well, it's
like
all
in the back.
custom made art, so there's probably all kinds of little Easter egg jokes in there.
Oh, there's a speeder. I love it.
But
Oh shit.
as you step forward, I love that the Star Trek universe is built on the ruins of the Star Wars universe.
Wait,
Well, it
this
was
is
a
an
long time
X-wing over
ago.
here.
It was a long time ago.
This is
you
a
know
nose
what?
of an
Even that
X-wing. I'm
big,
loving this.
the big thing on the left-hand side is the back of a battle cruiser, isn't it, or a star cruiser? The two big
It does look like the
yeah.
back of a Star Destroyer. Shit.
Star Destroyer. So yeah, they I love it. We have just discovered. Oh, I bet you if they're watching, they must be giggling themselves nuts because yeah, they just put the Star Trek world built on the ruins of the Star Wars world. I
Yeah.
love it to pieces.
Because on
Yeah,
the
it's-
left, that's either the nose of an A-wing or an X-wing. It's hard to tell.
It is. It's an X-wing. Yeah.
Yeah. But-
My character, by the way, will
Yeah.
be taking this fine opportunity in respect of, like someone's poor navigation just
Yep.
on display to pretty much just make a little design in the sand right where she is.
Absolutely.
Scribbling.
You may recall why she's making the design in the
Yep.
sand.
Absolutely. Got it. We will get back to that next week because as you get to this ship, you find it has been destroyed in the impact. There is nothing of any use here. Unfortunately, your engineer was correct. The technology that they're using is so different from your own, you're not going to be able to pillage that part you needed. As you step back out of the ruins of the ship, you see in the distance a single waft of smoke rising from a fire.
Ooh.
Given how this is going, what are the chances that those are our guys?
Very likely.
Peter, you pull out your gear. Give me a reason and engineering.
Any focuses I can use?
You're trying to track the original SOS signal that brought you here. So you tell me if any of your any of
I'm
your
gonna go with
focus.
see if astrophysics would that.
It's funny because my navigation would have applied. Have fun doing my job.
I'm going to go with astrophysics on that one, and I'm going to burn a stress to give myself an additional die.
Oh,
The physics is technically the
Burn.
same if you're trying to triangulate something.
how about just give me reason and engineering, and we'll see if you generate as successes. If not, we'll talk about what you can add.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
no
two
need.
successes.
2 successes. You start, now that you've got time, you start actually fiddling with fine details and trying to filter this. The more you learn about it, the more you're learning about it. So you're starting to be able to filter out tiny parts of this spectrum that's messing with all of your electronics.
Engineers do that.
Yes, they build filters. What you determine is that the smoke signal, or not signal, the smoke appears to be coming from the direction that the SOS signal is coming from. At least you've got it sort of down to a 30-degree range.
Mhm.
It is an incredibly old SOS, 30 to 40 years out of date.
Federation doesn't usually use out-of-date signals, but I wouldn't know about the.
Oh, you of
I
all the
wouldn't-
people, you're Trill. I want
I would
your.
actually. It's possible.
Give
Fox.
me a insight and science.
Which is actually worse on both counts. But joined, once permission, I'm going to declare that a former host had a specific expertise.
Yes. Okay. So
Fox
you roll
Sakes
with
spent
focus.
a lot of time in the neutral zone.
Makes sense.
A lot.
Always
of
looking
time
for
in the
new into experiences. Absolutely.
Mm.
So yeah, give me with focus. 2 more successes.
There we go.
They're the little, that other half, the symbiote. You hear the voice very clearly. Ah, that must be the Bounty. A ship that was, when the neutral zone was first instated, a ship called the Bounty was sent out because the idea was if they colonized these planets, they could claim them as their own, as part of the Federation, therefore moving the border. But the ship disappeared about 40 years ago. It has never been heard from since. But it was a
Sort of-
colony ship, so there'd be several
Sort
hundred
of-
people in it.
Okay, so I start to look at it and I'm like, I'm not sure what the commandant thought he was sending us to do, but from the looks of this here, I think we got a ghost ship on our hands, boys. This matches the signal of the Bounty, the colony ship we haven't seen in like 40 years.
As you go to turn off your tricorder, there's one more beep. 2, actually. Comm badges.
We got Starfleet, boys. We gotta.
You fiddle and fiddle and fiddle. They're within 100 meters. They're just around this outcropping of rock.
Peter gets a little too excited. And like a Trill wanting to experience new things and discover new things, he starts to pick up speed.
Well,
Just
are you going
Yep.
to say any of this stuff?
Oh, he's talking, just constant stream of consciousness.
Yeah, well,
Like,
you mean you
I
specifically
know
said
it's
he
an
had
old
comm
ship.
badges.
What do you think we're supposed to come
Gyro.
out here finding the ship? And then it's like, well, I know that, and he's talking to the person in his head.
Yep.
So
And
Gyro
then
is going
what's-
to.
Important to me was that what we just finished hearing was that they were blaming someone who seems to be like us for taking something else out of their stuff, and now we're seeing someone like us. So my ears are going to 30 degrees perk down, and I'm going to be on alert immediately.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I am going to walk up to Peter and very gently grab him by the shoulder and making him stop.
He does that thing where his legs keep moving for a second and then stop.
Yeah.
But boss, like these are Starfleet officers, eh? They're us. We
I
gotta
kn-
take care of them.
I know. But we need
Solan.
to be alert.
As you say that, Solan, you check your tricorder, your medical specific one. There are no life forms around that corner.
Oh no.
Gyro,
Anybody who's there, they used to be there.
Gyro, you
Oh,
hear that?
geez.
You're steps away from this cornice of rock.
Peter, would you rather I go first?
His hand starts to shake because this is the first time Peter's gotten into a fight, let alone been shot at.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, that might be the best idea there, sir.
I mean, if people are kind of hesitating at this point, kind of realizing that they're deceased, Solon's going to kind of go and at the very least figure out what killed them.
So you go to
Gyro
step
is
around
gonna
the
go with
corner.
them.
Gyro and Soul and Sky. Are you staying with Peter or are you stepping around the corner?
Who's doing their thing alone?
Peter has stayed behind.
Okay.
He's letting the other two go first because they're the ones with more combat experience than.
Yeah. There's a lot of displacement and there's a lot of like,
No,
not that kind of displacement. It's we've just gone through a lot and you have to consider her physique right now.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So, there's also consideration that if anything randomly jumps us, whoever's alone is in trouble. So yeah, I'm gonna at least stick with Peter in case anything else decides to go wrong.
Absolutely.
Also,
But I'm on alert. I'm looking for something else going wrong.
Absolutely. Gyro?
also, Gyro both is and isn't using composure. Like, they have to stay professional for this.
Yeah.
But also not be so serious.
Okay. Well, we'll see how that goes. Because the two of you step around the corner and see the top half of two people sticking up out of the dirt. You've heard horror stories. These two, when they teleported down, obviously was affected by the field. They teleported half into solid matter. Solan, as a medical doctor, you know it would have taken hours for them to actually die. But it was as inevitable as the sun coming up tomorrow. There was nothing anybody could have done once they are there.
Okay. At the very least, we can thank whatever luck there might be that Peter at least got us down safely.
At hearing his name, Peter comes around the corner.
I'm then following.
And once he sees it, he just complete sheet. He had been warned about this kind of shit. This is the kind of stuff this is why we have shuttles. And he's like, oh, geez. Puts down his toolbox.
Yeah.
Sits on it and just lets
So, I have a question. This is more just like a question about Star Trek in general.
Yeah.
Is taking their little badge the same as taking dog tags
Dog
off
tags.
off of a fallen soldier? Is it the same thing?
In this instance, yes, that would be the appropriate response, would be to take the tags. Yeah, they absolutely take their gun
Gyro-
badges.
I remember them doing it in the movies. If somebody fell.
Gyro is going to calmly walk over, kneel in front of them, and take their comm badges and bow their head silently in mournful respect before getting up and pocketing them.
Absolutely. Solan?
As a player, it's like, this sounds kind of disrespectful for like the move, but it's like, it doesn't matter. He wants to know how old they are. So he's going to start kind of figuring that out.
Yep.
You're a medical officer. It's not that inappropriate.
No,
Yeah, you'd immediately start checking.
it's also very logical. Yes, these were two experienced Star Federation scouts. These were two adults that were probably tougher than any of you are ever going to be.
So he's trying to figure out if they are possibly the group that was sent, that we're told sent and didn't come back.
This is absolutely the Susquehanna crew, the two from the Susquehanna.
Okay, so he's going to report that these two were of the Susquehanna.
Yeah. So These are the two that responded to the original SOS call. You've just discovered them half buried in the dirt, which means that they never discovered who sent that call. As you look around, go ahead.
No, I was going to say as Solon's doing his usual thing, giving the approximate time of death, how long they've been dead, blah blah blah. Peter's like, there was a whole colony ship. That's a lot of people. We got to find them. We really got to find them.
And with that, the sun sets in that really quick way that the only place on Earth that it does it is sort of at the equator. It's sunny, it's sunny, it's sunny, and then in a matter of moments, it's black. And I mean dark. Only the stars. There's no moons on this world. There's certainly no lights. The four of you are in this small clearing with these two bodies. As your first day comes to an end.
How
Peter's
long
having
are
a
the Romulans
bad
going to
day.
stay unconscious, by the way?
They will stay unconscious until woken. So if you leave them where they were, they will die eventually.
They got slept.
Yeah.
Because I was going to have Gyro carry them to their ship, just so they won't die.
Absolutely, yeah.
But other than that, they're going to leave them.
Absolutely, yeah, I get that. And that's narratively beautiful. So we will give you time to do that before the sun sets.
A little
One
note,
thing that-
sorry about shooting you in the face.
You started it.
One thing that sounds pretty logical from where we are.
Yeah.
For night, we'll need shelter, and we're beside one.
Oh, yeah.
So that's it's not going to be the most comfy thing, but hey, we'll camp out in a shelter that's made for us.
Inside the
And
Romulan
only that,
spaceship.
we're armed. They're not.
That's exactly what I figured, is you'd bring them back, leave them outside, and then you guys would camp on the ship. So that is where we will start next week.
Before
Yeah.
we close the curtain, I want to do a search using my onology
Yep.
as my focus,
Yep.
because I heard Romulans have good beer.
Well, okay. Yeah.
Well, that's the whole thing. That's one of my focuses is
Yep.
spirits of some sort.
Yeah,
The
onology. Yeah,
crafting and
technically the
brewing
knowledge of
and-
wine, but yeah. Well, I mean, Romulan ale is famous, so yes, you do find a tap in their mess hall which dispenses Romulan ale. So yes.
On the
Yeah,
first
totally
day of
having nothing to
Christmas,
do-
my true love gave to me a beer.
Ew,
Totally
not
having
you.
nothing to do with that, especially because I don't know if it's going to not work well with my system. So
Yes. Yeah.
It's like, well, on the bright side, has like a thermos full that he's just slowly screwing the cap on. We got stuff for the road, and I think we've got on the bright side, we won't be thirsty.
What's really funny is you mentioned thermos. Solon's going to do a similar thing, but for medical reasons as opposed to for, the road reasons.
Yep.
Oh,
Absolutely.
using alcohol for healing agents.
Uh-huh.
Or if you need somebody to not entirely bleed out when you're trying to operate, if you don't really have, if for some reason the magnetic stuff makes the beep beep no longer work,
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't only have, what Starfleet told him about as far as medical training is concerned.
Some field surgeon.
Absolutely. So with that, the four of you, each with your own worries and concerns, settle down for your first night on this planet. Peter, as you snuggle in, you look down again at your tricorder and
Yeah, I haven't
see.
stopped. I
No,
haven't
like
stopped. I
you're just
keep
checking
looking
all the
at it.
time, but you
every
see
once in a
the
while.
curve, the power curve of whatever's interfering with everything starting to ramp up. It's been cyclical, but overall that cycle is starting to climb. and you
Okay.
look and do a quick study of the math, that climb started the second you guys landed.
The second we landed. I make a note of that for sure.
So far, it's like my character said nothing. But yeah, my character
Yeah.
said nothing the whole time. Whatever.
While you're speaking of Sky, while you're in this ship, you would certainly have the opportunity to learn a lot about how Romulan ships work. Even though this one is wrecked, you would certainly be able to learn all kinds of things from it over the course of this evening if you chose to.
That'd probably be cool, considering what her people kind of expect of
Yeah.
her.
Absolutely.
So
So with that, each with your own mission in mind, plus the greater mission involved, plus trying to figure out how the hell you're going to get back up to your ship. Because the energy levels are such now that is no longer a safe option.
I don't mention that. That's
Okay,
a problem.
that is
for
only
another
for
day.
Peter. And
That's
as
a
the
problem
sun
for-
sets, the last thing you see is that little wisp of smoke off in the distance. And thus ends the first episode of Away Team, a Star Trek Adventures. Thank you all
Yay.
so much for helping me with the rules so that I could sort of focus on the story. I appreciate the heck out of that you wouldn't believe. A lot of GMs don't like being corrected. I love it because it means we're playing it right. So, with that, we're going to keep this short because we're already a little bit over tonight. I want to do the thank yous. Thank you so much, Nick, for coming out and playing this character for us. This doctor with so many questions. I'm really looking forward to see how this one develops. Lanny, Sky is a wonderful character. I'm loving how they're developing. I want to see what happens when we start to get into some more social situations, which are
Oh,
coming.
yeah.
questions. So many
especially because she
questions.
hasn't even said a word yet.
Not really, no,
Doesn't
hardly a
work.
sentence yet. Oh, Bison, thank you so much for bringing another interesting character. We eventually will get you one that only has one personality. Eventually, I make you that promise.
I'm just going to say, just for entertainment purposes, this is the second time we've had a science fiction show with a mute pilot.
Yeah. Oh man, unintentional callbacks. You're absolutely right. Oh man, and
She's
Hellhound-
not mute. She just hasn't
No,
spoken
nothing
yet.
yet, as far as they know. But finally, definitely not least, Hellhounds 25 games a week. You're nuts. But thank you for taking the time out of that and coming to do this. I hope it was fun. I hope it was a release. I know getting to play one character for a night sometimes is just fun. But thank you for joining us.
I need to correct you. It's 7.
7 games. That's too many.
I
wow.
DM 5. I play in 2.
DM5 and play in 2. Wow. Unbelievable.
Girl, what?
Ah,
I get stir crazy if I don't do anything.
I get it. I envy / pity you. I don't know where to go with that. I'm completely ambivalent on that one. But thank you for being one of the 7. I appreciate it very, very much. And we'll see all of you next week. Thank you also to chat, to the people in chat. It was a small but vocal group tonight, mostly Lance, buddy. I'm sure this will pick up over time as more people find out about us. With that, the people in the future on YouTube, thank you for watching as well. And until next week, as
Be nice to
always,
each other.
you beat me to it. Be nice to
Stay
each other.
safe.
Good night.
Get vaccinated.